Hello and welcome back to our channel, or if you're new here, welcome to our channel. I'm Pedro. I'm part of Glasgow Ghost Hunters. I'm going to cover a wee video here today. I'm going to debunk it as well. It's this one here. It is called Ghost Trip Investigation, and they actually investigate a place I know a lot about. It's called Peterhead Prison, and it says locked inside a maximum security haunted prison. Paranormal caught on camera. Now, it will be interesting to see what they catch. Bearing in mind, I worked there for almost a decade, so I'll be interested to see what they caught, and we will go through. I'm not going to go through the whole video because of copyright, but I'm going to go through the most watched parts to see what they catch, and I'll tell you if that reflects to what happened or what is supposedly happening there. Out on what would be called the exercise yard, right? So this year that you've got this would have been what was known as Delta Hall, Bravo Hall. This would have been B Hall, and to the right hand side here, with where the guy without the baseball cap standing would be called, that would be C Hall or Charlie Hall, and this small part here would be the health centre. So this is where they would come out from all the halls on exercise.
It's a museum attraction as well, so they've obviously kept it as.
We were just saying, compared to some of the prisons that we've actually been to, it's not like, I know there's reasons why it was classed as, not fit for purpose, but it's
in good shape.
Yes,
it is in good shape
compared to some of the ones that we've been to.
They've been in terrible shape.
The jail was built in 1888, ready to hold convict prisoners because they decided at that time a prison was needed. And for a little bit of knowledge for you, a little bit of bonus knowledge for you, the actual breakwater at the harbour was built by the convict prisoners in that jail. They were out there every day building the walls to the harbour ready for the breakwater, and the warders at the time were there with their cutlasses and their rifles, and if any prisoner stepped out of line, well, you can guess what happened. So there's a little bit of trivia for you. For those of you who don't know, Peterhead Prison is in the northeast of Scotland, about an hour north of Aberdeen and about an hour south of Inverness. So it's like maybe a bit longer, maybe an hour and a half from Inverness, but it's classed as nearly being in the middle of both. It is made of pure granite. That is the coldest jail I have ever worked in. We'll listen to this bit here and we'll see if we can hear what they hear.
Like Dan says, we just ask that no harm comes to us.
We understand that there's obviously going to be potentially some not dark energy, but not nice spirits here. We're in a prison that housed sex offenders, murderers. We will be respectful to you.
What did you move there? Mate, it was like something was like moving there.
Really?
And I was like, whoa, is that someone there or something? But like,
right, they said they could hear somebody moving there, right? What you've got to understand is Peterhead Prison is actually built near a housing estate, or a housing estate has been built round Peterhead Prison. And quite often people walk the perimeter with their dogs. I'm not saying that's what it was, but they need to also eliminate that as well, because you used to hear it when I was a night shift in the halls there, when the prisoners were all locked down, you were in there your own. You would hear noises like that, and 9 times out of 10 it was somebody walking around the perimeter of the jail.
like here.
Oh wow,
That was weird.
it's not a shadow, no. We will be respectful to you, and we ask that you are respectful to us as well. With that being said, we now announce this paranormal investigation is open. All interaction is permitted.
Right, this looks like they're in what was called B Hall or Bravo Hall, and as far as I know, there was nothing in there that was supposedly haunted. The only haunted hall, or only supposedly haunted area in Peterhead Prison, was C Hall, Charlie Hall. I had an experience in there, and I'm going to tell you about that experience. I was in there on a night shift. It was about 2 o'clock in the morning, and I'd heard what was like an officer walking along the top landing, keys jingling, and like his baton or his truncheon hitting the railings. When I went out, there was nothing there. Now, there are stories that an old officer that died there, that is his spirit. However, I'm chalking it up to it was at 2 o'clock in the morning. I'd been there since 9 o'clock at night. I was tired, so I've put it down to tiredness. Maybe it was a real paranormal experience, I don't know. But the logical side of me says it was tiredness. But because there was just a lot of chattering and them still thinking that noise they heard was possibly in there. They hear another noise now, and let's have a look and see what it is. Sorry about that, folks, I'm still getting used to StreamYard.
Thank you. There's a lot of banging down there, is there?
Loads, mate.
How are you?
We're okay at the moment. We'll climb over it.
Go on, son.
At this point, I should say they've also got like a spirit talker thing going, and they're also going to use their voice recorder, and I believe just shortly they're going to use the torch trick.
Okay.
Spirits, if you're able to show yourself to us, we'd love to be able to see you, as I said, as a shadow figure, an orb, an apparition.
Now you can hear it as well there when they're talking, you can hear the actual echo in that jail. It's a big old Victorian jail, so any noise that they get, they're going to have to investigate thoroughly and then try and debunk it to see, is it the echo, is it not? If they don't do that, then they can't categorically say it's paranormal.
Look at this.
Well, this is your fault.
This was your standard size cell at Peterhead Prison. There was no toilets in the cell at Peterhead Prison. They had to use a porta potty. They did consider drilling holes into the wall to put in sanitation. However, the granite was too thick because it is reinforced granite, so they gave up after 2 days of trying.
Greetings.
Hello.
Greetings, hello.
Are we in your cell?
Am I dead?
Yeah. Maybe step outside the cell.
Yeah.
We'll be drinking 20 minutes, guys.
Who was that?
See, that could be anything. There's a caretaker that is in this jail when investigations and that are going on. He could just be wandering about doing his checks, or it could be the security wandering about doing their checks. So unless they've got a camera down there showing that, maybe not. It could also just be a cell door shut into the wind. Believe me, I've worked there enough to know.
Adam? What did you
wasn't-
say?
Who was that?
Behave.
Heard,
You heard that, right?
yeah, that,
Guys,
I got this on camera.
guys.
I think it's a nothing burger, to be honest.
No, we just heard something go, whoop. Now I'm going to get the...
Like I say, he said he's playing with there, he just heard something go woof. If I can find an exterior shot of the prison, I'll show you. There's actually a walkway right round the prison, and as I've said previously, people walk their dogs round there. So unless you're actually going to a cell window to look out and see if anyone's there, I would chalk that up to being a dog outside with a dog walker.
Whoa!
What are you doing?
What?
Cousin.
You just
What's
whispered
happening?
in my ear.
No, I didn't.
Why would you randomly whisper in your ear?
A whisper in your ear.
You were...
And as well, they're getting themselves wound up because obviously Peterhead Prison is classed as notorious for being haunted, which it isn't. There is a illusion. I found a photograph of an aerial view of Peterhead Prison. So here's what I'm going to explain. Right, this here is Peterhead Prison. Right, this was the main entrance to Peterhead Prison, and all round this area here, down the side of this perimeter fence, and all the way around is a walkway, or was a walkway that people could walk their dogs on. I think it's still there, as far as I know. Right, the hall here at the bottom end facing the harbour, that's Charlie Hall, that's C Hall in the medical centre, and this is Bravo Hall, Alpha and Delta Hall here, and the ones in the middle was Bravo Hall. Now they were in B Hall, which you can see is still close to perimeter, and plenty of people walk their dogs on the grassy area there. So when it comes to like dogs barking and things like that, they need to rule out the fact that it could be a dog walker round the perimeter. Get them at their investigation again. I'm not going to share much more of it because there isn't much more of it to show actually that I've got high spike areas. So right, we'll go from here.
So I'm going to put this just on.
Now they're running the spirit talker on this one, but what he's going to do here is he's going to put one of these twist-on mag-light torches here on the stairs, and we all know about these mag-light torches. They're set just enough to heat up to switch themselves on, and as it gets cold, to switch themselves off again. Beardo's covered it. Other people have covered it. I'm not going to cover it again, but I'm just going to show you that they're going to use this flawed technique.
Stairs here. I'm not going to put it on, and I'm not going to put it off. Well, I'm going to put it off, but it's not going to need a lot of energy to make it go on. I'm going to ask some questions and see.
Now you can see here, he's trying to set it just so that it'll, with the heating up and the cooling down, expansion and contraction, it'll switch itself on. That's why they never use a push button torch. It's always just screw in magnums or little mag lights or whatever they're called.
It can be answered using the light. Suppose there's a lot.
Oh, so
Can you step away from the light a minute? Just want to ask you a question. Just step away. Completely. Thank you.
Now that was it cooling down again. So when it comes on, if it comes on to a question that's asked, then it's completely random, because these don't respond to questions, they respond to heating up, contraction, heating up, contraction.
Thank you. I'm going to ask you two questions. Were you an inmate here at the prison? Okay. If you were... step away if you're not a guard.
No.
Thank you.
Now the Spirit Talker's going off as well, but we know how flawed the Spirit Talker app is. I'm not going to cover the Spirit Talker app. I don't know enough about it, but we've seen it happen in... other people have debunked it, Beardo's debunked it, I believe Real Evidence has as well, so yeah. I'm not going to do that. So there you go. I've worked in Peterhead Prison. I worked there for nearly a decade, and the only hall that was haunted, and they don't go into it because I've watched it for 50 minutes, is Charlie Hall. Now, Sea Hall had the health centre built onto it as well, and a few people have died. A few prisoners have died in that health centre. And like I say, I said to you already, I have a experience in Sea Hall on a night shift, but I've choked it up to being tired. May well have been paranormal, but I'm looking on the logical side now that it was probably just tiredness on myself, because we started at 9 o'clock at night. It was about 2, maybe half 2 in the morning, and I still had to work through till 7 in the morning, so it's probably tiredness, but you never know. I would love to go and investigate Peterhead Prison myself, but it's £300 a time, and that's for up to, I believe, a group of 10. But if I did go with this, I would be taking the likes of Beardo with me, Real Evidence if they wanted to come, Three Spires, Bristol Paranormal, all the guys that are logical out there. I would even like, if I could, to get Kenny Biddle over, because I think he'd be a great guy to investigate there with as well, with his knowledge of this is not paranormal. But if I ever did arrange it, I would try and get a few teams there at once and make a complete night of it, because you can have separate teams in separate halls and then look at the footage later, or if they hear something, I know these teams would go and try and find out what that was there, rather than just saying it's a banging noise or it's a woofing noise. They would actually go and, I would like to think we'd go and look out a window and say, oh yes, there's a guy passing with his dog, or that's possibly from outside, rather than just stand there and say, did you hear that woofing? You know, but that's what I'm going to try and do. I believe the museum is closed at the moment because, unfortunately, they're struggling a little bit financially, as you can understand, in this day and age, in this current climate. But if they do manage to stay open, I'm going to talk to them about trying to get a big investigation going there and see if we can get a few teams up to it, and then maybe investigate. I could investigate A Hall and D Hall with other members of Glasgow Ghost Hunters, maybe put real evidence in C Hall, and then swap over the night and see if we get similar experiences or different experiences in that hall, and try and debunk or not be able to debunk what we find. Anyway, it's just a quick video. I wanted to do it. I was going to do it months ago, but work's got in the way, and mother-in-law's not keeping very well, so I've got a chance to do it now. Oh, and by the way, my t-shirt says it's Beardo's fault. Shout out to Beardo, one of the best channels out there. Certainly opened my eyes to debunking, so if you haven't already, go over and subscribe to Real Evidence. He's producing some great debunking videos. And also look at Spaghetti a la Paranormal. He's really, really good as well. If you're into wrestling, like WWE wrestling, he does wrestling for the paranormal community every so often. He also does other videos as well. So go over and check him out. And yeah, and the Paranormal Engineer as well. I've started watching his channel. It's pretty good. So this is Glasgow Ghost Hunters out.